Hi everyone, it's Rebecca Virginia, and today I have some last minute fall and Halloween DIYs that are unbelievably quick and easy to do. I've got a lot of DIYs in just a short amount of time to show you, so let's get started. I loved this stack of pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. It was in the plus section for $5. They are 3 plastic pumpkins and they snap together. And as you can see, I'm just holding the top and it was not coming apart. So once you snap them into place, you really don't have to worry about them moving. I saw on Instagram a girl got this for $1.25 and I was absolutely shocked. I was like, there's no way this is $1.25. And sure enough, at my store, it was in the plus section for $5. So I don't know if maybe the cashier rang hers up wrong or what went on, but this was $5. I went over it in Rust-Oleum spray paint in white just to kind of act as a primer before going in with this stone spray paint that I absolutely love. The stone spray paint gives a gorgeous color and texture and really transforms the very plasticky, bright orange looking pumpkin into something that looks like it's made of cement or, stone like the spray paint suggests. I think with just using 2 really simple craft supplies, you completely elevate this project from something you see at the Dollar Tree to maybe something you'd find at a more high-end store. Next up, going a little bit more spooky, we're going to be making 2 mummies, and it was so easy to do. You will see in a later DIY, I started off trying to make this out of cardboard, and it was kind of a nightmare to work with, so I decided to go to some good old foam core board, which you can pick up in the Dollar Tree school supplies section. And I'm just cutting this in half, making one a little bit shorter since that's going to be kind of like the baby mummy. And yeah, this was way easier to do than cardboard, so I highly suggest that. You will see me struggling quite a bit with the later DIY. All that I have are scissors. I don't have too many fancy craft tools. I just kind of used what I have around the house. So that's all that I had to cut it with. Then, super simple to create the mummy, I went around and around with gauze, and of course, my puppy was very interested. He had to be involved in this process. So while I was wrapping the foam core board pieces, he really wanted to, just help me out with this DIY. Once I had completely wrapped the board, I apologize, my camera was a little too close. I don't usually do massive DIYs. Mine tend to be a lot smaller, so I'm definitely gonna have to work with my camera angles there. But once I had placed the gauze around, I started pulling it apart with my fingers just to make it look, very old and textured, like something a mummy would be in. And for the mummy's eyes, I used some measuring cups as my stencils there to create some black circles out of some cardstock. The one mummy, it was super easy to just tuck the black eyes right into the gauze, but for the second one, which you'll see just in a second right now, it was a little bit more covered, so I did go in with hot glue, and I ended up deciding that this was going to be outdoor decor for me. I have a covered front porch, so I don't have to worry about rain. It's really just the wind and, maybe a little bit of sunshine kind of fading things out a little bit. So I did add the hot glue just to make sure that the eyes didn't blow away. And I ended up using that double-sided tape that you use when you're using command hooks. And I just placed this on the side of my house. I have a bat situation going on with some bats I cut out of cardstock, so I added my mummies there. Back to some indoor decor. This is a super simple witch's broom using a mop from the Dollar Tree. I have seen people use the plungers from the Dollar Tree, so you'll see that I'm creating a base here. Not only will that flare out the mop or the broom pieces, but also it's going to be able to stand on its own. This is actually from a dessert that I got at Costco. I saved the glasses that it came in, so that's going to be our base, and I'm hot gluing a wood dowel to the top, which is of course going to be the stick part of the broom. I purchased a mop head from the Dollar Tree, and this is going to be the bristles of the broom. I cut them off because they were on this black piece of plastic which was holding them all together. So once I cut them off, I started to unravel them because I want this to look like a very old and used broom. That's what a witch's broom just looks like in my mind. They don't have anything new. So I'm unraveling about 3/4 of the section of each mop piece. So the tops are still together, but the bottom is nice and scraggly, like it has been used on many a witch's floor. I used about 3/4 of the mop head that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. The rest I saved because I'm sure I will use it in a future DIY. It will make a great Santa's beard for the upcoming holiday season crafts. But I'm just grabbing a bunch of these, and then you can really use anything to tie it all together. The easiest, I think, is a zip tie. So I went in with a white zip tie and zip tied it super tight before going in and giving everything a haircut. So I'm trimming the top, I'm trimming the bottom, and I'm also just kind of fluffing all around the broom to make sure that is the shape that I really like. Also, I realized I made a big mistake because I forgot to paint the handle before I attached all of our mop pieces. So I did go in and add a little bit of dark brown paint to the broom. I thought that I wanted an accessory on the broom, but I ended up really not liking how it turned out. But I just wanted to include it to show you that there are a lot of mistakes that are made during the creating process. There are ideas that never make it to film, never things that I actually show. So this is just one of them. I thought it'd be cool to use this napkin, but ended up not really liking it. But I thought I'd leave it in, just to let you know that not everything comes out perfect. There are lots of trials along the way of making these DIYs. To cover up the white zip tie, I went in with jute. Yes, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I've been on the hunt for this. I found it at one store and ended up buying 3 rolls. So I wrapped all of that around with jute. And then I went in with some raffia. I've got to purchase some more because my raffia is getting very scraggly. But I grabbed a bunch of that and then tied it around the handle of our broom and made a bow. I thought the wood witch's hat, which I was gonna cover in that cool Halloween napkin, was too large for this DIY, but it did have some really nice stickers. So this one said Happy Halloween and had a witch's broom on it. So I just placed it on some of this black spider paper. You can't really see it, but the black paper made it easier to read what was actually on the sticker. And then I just used a little bit of hot glue to add it to our raffia bow. This was a lot smaller than that large witch's hat would cut out, so I really liked having just the smaller accessory on this DIY. Next DIY, I am back to using my favorite spray paint, that Rust-Oleum Stone spray paint, and I was running a little bit low, so after doing all 3 of the pumpkins and this one, I officially ran out, had to throw it away. So that is just to kind of let you know how much you get out of each can. I picked this one up from Walmart for 98 cents. They had orange ones and white ones, so I went with the white, so that way I skipped a step. I wouldn't have to prime the bright orange one, and then I did 2 coats of this stone spray paint. Then I let about 24 hours for it to dry in between each coat. So this is the finished product. You could add in some soil, plant whatever kind of flower that you would like. I actually picked up this small planter of mums from Publix, so it was already in the container for me. Just have to go in and water it. If you are going to put soil in it and then plant it, make sure that you drill some holes in the bottom just so that the water can get through. I love these large cardboard cats. I just had cardboard laying around. We had recently purchased a mirror from Costco, so I had a big old piece of cardboard. If you have woodworking tools, it is going to be more long lasting and a bit sturdier if you go ahead with wood. But for all of these DIYs, I was just kind of using what I had. I didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of new stuff, especially pieces of wood, and then have them cut it into the cat ear shape at Lowe's or Home Depot. So I'm just using what I have. Now, this cardboard was insanely thick. It had a giant mirror in it, so it took me and my pup, as you can see, he's always helping me out, a long time to cut out the shapes. They're just simple rectangles, and then at the top you do the cat ears, kind of like an M. And it did take me a while. So I would recommend using the foam core board like I did for the mummies. Or again, if you have woodworking tools and some spare wood laying around, that is going to be a lot more durable, especially if you don't have a covered front porch like me. But this was just some trash I had laying around, and I wanted to create some cats out of it. Like the mummy, I have the taller one and the shorter one. I forgot to turn the camera on for this part. I made some bows out of raffia and then went in with a bright green color for the eyes. Also, don't worry if you saw me spray painting without laying a tarp down first in the backyard. We don't get sun in our backyard, so the only thing that grows in the dirt are weeds, and we had a bunch of yard work to do after I made these videos, so I went ahead and just sprayed over the weeds because I knew in a couple hours I was gonna have to spend all afternoon weeding them out anyway. The final touch on our cat cardboard pieces was to create the cat's eyes. I used a black Sharpie just like I did with our pumpkin planter. Can't wait to place this right next to the front door and see what the trick-or-treaters think of it. And now we are moving on to our tablescape. So I am taking this spider web from the Dollar Tree, and that is going to be the charger for our plate. Then we're going to move on to our napkin. I found this awesome fabric from the Dollar Tree. You could definitely cut this into, probably you could get 3 napkins out of it. For the sake of this video though, I just took the roll. And now in the Crafter's Square section, they're also selling these wood rings. When I saw them, I immediately thought of a napkin holder. I like it as is, but to add a little bit more of that Halloween flair, I grabbed the bat clothespins from the Dollar Tree and I left the clothespin on. I just painted the bat black, and then really easily I was able to clip the bat over the napkin ring. You could always take the clothespin part off and hot glue it, but this is really nice because it's very interchangeable. I think for Christmas I'll be adding on some Christmas trees or maybe snowman onto our ring. The last little touch that I have here for our simple tablescape is adding one of these zombie or mummy looking hands over the silverware. I thought that was funny because you use silverware with your hands, and we have a little creepy hand who just wants to be invited to the dinner party apparently. If any of you watching have Halloween themed dinner parties or just parties in general, you'll have to let me know in the comments down below. What are your go-tos for decorating? Do you do a dinner party with a fun tablescape, or do you just decorate your house and your mantle? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.